image and video production used to be kind of the domain of, oh, I want to make films, or my job is to make, I work for an agency and we get hired by brands to make TV commercials for them or to make like explainer videos, right? Like very few people sort of had an interest to make, or, I want to be a YouTuber, things like that. But like the vast majority of us, I think, never, kind of had this need to make video or images beyond like some, clip art or other things we could find to put in our PowerPoints, right? But now, again, because of, again, as I mentioned, we crossed the chasm that now it is so easy to create extraordinarily compelling images, static images, and videos. You start to realize that this is an ultimately important skill, meaning it's communication. We as humans, what do? We communicate. We communicate with one another. We communicate with our friends and family. We communicate with our colleagues. We have some idea. I have ideas in the shower all the time. I get out of the shower and I get on Zoom, or in the past, I'd go to an office and I'd communicate to my peers what my idea is. And that communication is either verbal, and some of us are better than others at verbal communication, or, it's written, or it's, some people are good at like sketching and drawing. I'm one of those people that's decent at it. And so that's been one of my unfair advantages is I can very quickly sort of like sketch things out and communicate visually, right? Some people have been good at like PowerPoint and clip art, yeah. Uh, but if you think about it, again, video is the most compelling medium of communication that we humans have. Moving pictures and audio, especially when it can be cinematic, right? Imagine if you had the capabilities of whatever, pick your director, James Cameron, and now the cost and the time required went away, that you could just have an idea and in the next 5 minutes or 15 minutes, have a little short video that explains cinematically some concept to your peers or your prospect, investors, whomever. That's the world that we're in now. And so these are fundamental new capabilities, and mastering them is a fundamental digital literacy skill. It's a skill of communication. It will help you in all of your endeavors, personal or professional. It's very important, I would argue now, to master image and video generation, image and video production. It has nothing to do with becoming a YouTuber, although that's also gotten dramatically easier because you can create channels that run themselves, that do research and do planning and do production and do publishing and then do fine tuning and community building. And you can build these autonomous, they're called headless, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever channels using MindStudio and run them. And people do that. Okay. So what a crazy new world we're living in. And by the way, all of this has really happened kind of in the last quarter, last few months. We've crossed this chasm from like these things are kind of clunky and they're not for serious business to now they're incredible. Okay, so it sounds like all of you have done this. Yeah, sorry, you're still seeing my screen now? Cool. All of you have done this from our survey, which you said, you may have typed something else in, but an image of a man walking a dog, and you got this amazing image of a man walking a dog. That is indeed a man. That is indeed a dog. They are walking. But is that the image of the dog you wanted? Was that the breed? Was that the man? Was this the setting? No, I didn't say it. The model chose it. It's amazing. But there's a problem. Just like sort of describing in words, imagery, and even beyond that, imagery and lighting and setting and motion and various cinematography terms. Well, that requires extraordinary number of words, and that makes this process, not make sense. And so this is not the best interface for generating images. It's not typing something into ChatGPT or Nano Banana. Okay, there are better interfaces for it. How many of you have heard of a website called Hugging Face? Kind of an odd name. Yeah. Okay. Hugging Face is a directory of AI models, tens of thousands of AI models available for you to use. It's very nerdy. You have to like download these models onto your computer and install them and run them. But it's really powerful. And so people who are more serious about image and video generation, oftentimes, if they're doing it artistically, they refer to themselves as like AI artists. It's like a new form of art that's amazing, or AI cinematographers, or again, just hobbyists, know how to do this and spend their time doing it. They've purchased really expensive, I have one of these in my garage, giant, like weighs 60 pounds desktop with a high-end GPU. And that thing can generate images and videos. And it just costs me electricity to run it. And so I can install these Hugging Face models and do them. There's another website called FAL, which is something similar to this. How many of you have heard of FAL? Okay, perfect. Again, these are for image and video nerds. These websites have been around. And then there's this thing that I asked you guys about called Comfy. No joke, this and Comfy is actually sort of a relatively simple Comfy configuration. This is what it takes to be able to take these two images and turn them into these two images. Each one of these things is called a node. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, dozens of nodes, and all of these weird configuration settings. So you can input one image, two image, and then you get these kinds of things. And then you can run them. This is called a workflow, okay? This is another one. Again, each one of these little things here is a node, and you got to connect manually each of these little lines that connect to these little things in order to take in these three inputs and then be able to generate these types of images. Okay. MindStudio is a new kid on the block in this image and video generation, kind of for serious production grade. What I mean by serious is like you could be doing whimsical things with it, but it's powerful, it's professional, professional. Okay. And so to do kind of this, and MindStudio is this. And that's dramatically easier and faster and better. Okay. Just as powerful, all the same capabilities, but here. And by the way, as of 2 days ago, or maybe it was yesterday, it's all a big blur. We've now made it super easy that if you are already running Comfy and you've got this machine and you're already like a Comfy expert, perfect. You can literally just connect MindStudio to Comfy and drive all of this nuttiness of Comfy from the simplicity of MindStudio. And so you get a much simpler, better interface on top of this Comfy thing that you already have, and you've downloaded all these models and all of that. Okay, so let's quickly go through this. That's the last slide I'm going to do, and then we're going to play. Like, what is this thing for? Okay. So in order to generate professional quality images that give you exactly what you want, again, is not done by typing some words into a prompt box. It's done by creating these workflows, multi-step workflows, 1, 2, 3, something that proceeds. And so MindStudio allows you to, again, very easily, with very little training, no technical skills required, to build and execute these multi-step workflows in image generation. They're typically, or video, they're typically referred to as pipelines. So when you see the term pipeline, workflow, multi-step workflow, this is what they're talking about. MindStudio makes it really easy to, at every step of the pipeline, to evaluate that step and fine-tune it. That's what it takes to get consistent, high-quality images or videos out of your efforts, is to create multi-step pipelines, fine-tune each step to do exactly what you want it to do, and then it works. Then you can just run it over and over and over again. MindStudio, so like, again, I mentioned like Comfy UI, or if you're using, some of these other things like that, you have to go to like Hugging Face or other places and download and install these models and get API keys and all that stuff. You don't have to do any of that. You like instantly get access to the latest AI image and video models. And obviously, for those of you that know about MindStudio, as an automation platform, By the way, over 400,000 of these AI agents have been built with MindStudio already and deployed in all kinds of organizations that automate all kinds of business processes. So along with all of this new image and video capabilities in audio, you obviously also continue to get all of those other capabilities of MindStudio, and they're just instantly available for you. You only pay for what you use to the model providers, depending on what model you're using and how much you're using it. We don't mark it up at all. So it's the exact same price that you pay if you just get your own API keys from those models. And in fact, if you want to do that, you can do that as well. Well, we allow you to do that easily. Um, there are hundreds of these little blocks that you can put on the canvas and connect. We'll touch upon a bunch of them, but we're not going to get into, you know, not even 5% of them, but I'll show you the important ones for image and video generation. I encourage you to go and look through hundreds of them and realize just how much power you now have at your fingertips. You can run these agents in what we call workbench mode, which is the first thing that I'll show you. But also I'll show you how you can then take those agents and fine tune them in Workbench and then publish them as applications for yourself or for others to use. And you can even charge for people using your applications. So these are micro SaaS products that you're building with MindStudio and now allowing other people to use, and you make money every time they use it. So if you build something valuable that generates images or videos or whatever and publish it and put a price tag on it, you're earning money. Okay. Now I'll show you examples of that here in a moment. And then, yeah, again, so I already kind of mentioned all of this. Okay, so enough of that. Let's quickly go to MindStudio. If you're not logged in, you should log in. Don't do it now. Please don't try to follow along. One, this is being recorded. Is that true? I believe it's being recorded. If not, there are other recordings of this for sure. And so don't try to keep up. MindStudio.ai, my workspace, and you land here. First of all, I want to point your attention to, we have a number of these templates that you can simply follow. These are just multi-step, step-by-step instructions on what to do and how to do it. I'm about to demonstrate this for you, so you don't have to like look at these. But again, I want you to know that they're here, and you can go and take your time and go through these here. And then also, we'll be talking about these in a moment, where you can browse through and use a bunch of these applications that have already been created, some by us, some by other, by users, by folks like yourselves that have created these applications that allow you to, in this case, for example, upload a selfie, and then this thing will create a bunch of variants of hairstyles for you. And you get to choose if it's just cut or just color or both. And if you have something in mind, then you can describe it, or you can say, surprise me, and then it will do it. And then you push a button. By the way, it costs, I think, $1 to run. And then what you get out of it is you get things like this. This is mine that I ran. And so these are various hairstyles that this thing is able to give me. It's a really valuable tool, right? And again, for $1, you get all of these different derivatives. I should have shown you some of these, much better people in doing it, but you get it. This is really powerful. Okay, so let's quickly, I want to show you how to build a simple agent so you understand the basics, and then we're going to open up these agents here, and we're going to see how they're made. And I want to also alert you that we have a hackathon going on right now, and it started a week ago, but it goes for another week. And I encourage all of you to go and participate in it. One, you get to hone your skills. Two, there are prizes. There's like $1,000 prize, $500 prize. It's a bunch of free credits. And so lots of things that you can do. And by the end of this class, you will be able to have enough skills to participate in that. Okay, so please, maybe Josh or Luis post a link to the announcement of that hackathon so people know how to find it. Okay, so I clicked, let me go back here. I went to my workspace, and I'm going to click New Agent right here. And again, if you've never seen the MindStudio editor interface, This might look, whoa, there's a lot of things here. Don't worry about it. There are a lot of things here, and I'm going to show you a trivial number of things. But I'm going to show you just how powerful it is right off the bat of doing it. So this is a canvas, right? And you can arrange these blocks on this canvas and connect them to one another. All of these things are made of these workflows. When you click on a block, the configuration settings for each block are on the right-hand side. You can also click plus, and then you can add many different types of blocks. Again, there's 153 in this section. There's another 856 in this section. And so we're going to play around with some of these blocks here quickly just to show you some of these like image and video capabilities. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this start block, and I'm going to change this from on demand to workbench. Don't worry about what these things mean. I'm not teaching you kind of a comprehensive MindStudio class. We've got lots of recordings on our YouTube channel where you guys can go deep into all of these things. For now, I'm just going to jump into it and do it without explaining. So I'm just going to choose this workbench mode. Now I'm going to hit plus. And then I'm going to use the set variable mode node or block. And set variable allows me to basically create a variable. Everybody know what a variable is? A variable is just like a word that can store data. Okay. And you can have different types of variables. They can be text, they can be image, video, file, list, etc. This one is just going to be image. And I'm going to call this variable name selfie. And then I'm going to click here, and I'm going to just, again, give it this image. So right now, in our workflow here, in our workbench, we have something called selfie. And selfie is this image. Now, selfie actually isn't the image. Selfie is a URL. It's the link to this image that's just been uploaded to the cloud. And so the variable selfie does not actually store sort of a binary image. It stores a link, HTTPS to something, which is on our CDN. This image has been uploaded. So that's what we have in selfie. Okay, then I'm going to click plus. And again, these are commonly used blocks. That's why they're here. To access all of them, you click here. You can interact with language models. You can interact with image models, which is what we're about to do, video models, computer vision models, text-to-speech, lots of different types of models. Here I'm going to choose generate image. Okay, and again, you click on each one of these things and you can see different configurations. And so this is the configuration screen for the generate image block. It requires a prompt. That makes sense, right? You guys know that you prompt models. When you ask a model for a picture of a man walking a dog, that's called a prompt. And so you prompt the model. And of course, we could prompt this model with what we want to generate, and it would generate it. But we're building something else here that I'll show you. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, sorry, before I type anything. So let's look at the different sections. So generate image blocks require a prompt. They have this thing called an output behavior. It says, once this thing runs, what should happen? Here, we're just going to leave it display to user for now, but you can also save it to a variable. So whatever comes back from that image prompt from the image model can be saved to a variable. We can name that variable, and then we can use it later in our workflow. Again, for now, I'm just going to leave it at display to user. We get to choose what model we use. Right now, there's 41 models available that are image models. And so again, we can browse them from different providers, Amazon, Black Forest Labs. How many of you have heard of Flux? Flux is a very popular family of models. ByteDance, really powerful. More and more getting in the news with these Seedream models. Obviously, Google, Nano Banana and those models. Ideogram. So again, lots of models. Kling is super hot right now. We've got all of them, and you can just use them. You can just pick whatever model you want, and you can just use it. So for example, if I wanted to use, Nano Banana here, and by the way, it also tells you how much these things cost. So some are really inexpensive, like fractions of a penny. Some are, 2 cents. This one is 13 cents. Again, be aware of these. And then you pick a model and then you run. I'm just going to run this one, Nano Banana. And different models, when you select them, have different additional capabilities. So models are not all built the same. Both text models and image models and video models. Image models differ in a number of dimensions. One dimension is, do they support something called source images? Can you give it an image or not? And some models don't support source images. This model does. Most models these days do. Okay. And then they also frequently support, different types of aspect ratios, right? Is it wide? Is it tall? Is it custom, etc.? And then they support resolutions. Again, not all of them, but as you pick the model, you'll see this right-hand side change that says, do you have that control or do you not have that control? Okay. And then other things. For example, so these are the things that are supported by the model. Inside of MindStudio, there's some different additional parameters that we add, like this parameter called multiple variants that I'm going to show in a moment. So for now, I'm just going to use this model. I'm going to say for the source image, I'm going to say plus. And you see it expects a URL for an image, or you can upload an image directly here. But we already created this variable. And again, in this variable is now stored the URL pointing at this image that now lives in the cloud. And I'm going to leverage that. And so here, I'm just going to type double curly braces selfie. Let me make this bigger. These characters, these are called curly braces. You may not have ever used these in your life if you haven't been a developer. And so they're kind of above your enter key. And this is how you reference variables in MindStudio. This is about as technical as MindStudio gets. So don't be afraid of double curly braces. You say double curly braces, and then the name of the variable. Remember, we called this variable selfie. Therefore, we're putting the word selfie here. And now, in this field, automatically will be injected the URL to this image right here. Okay. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a prompt. So now we're giving to the model the reference image, which is in this case going to be a picture of me. And then we're giving it a prompt. Okay. And I can say, create a, sure, let's do this, 2x2 grid of professional studio headshots of this person. This is a terrible prompt, right? Like, I don't know if you guys have seen any like great prompts. We'll touch upon some of these here shortly. So this is a terrible prompt, but it should work for us anyway. Okay, and that's it. So far, let's recap. I said workbench. I added the set variable block. I changed it to image. I chose image instead of text. That allowed me to upload an image. I just uploaded an image. And we called that image selfie. And again, selfie now has the URL to where this image lives in the cloud. We then give this selfie as the source image to a generate image block. In this case, we chose this nano banana model. And we're giving it a prompt along with the source image. And it says create a 2x2 grid, so 4 images of professional studio headshots of this person. And then this thing ends. Okay. And all we have to do now to see how this works is click run here on the top right. And when I click run, we get this little window open here. And again, we can actually see what's happening. It says, great, I started the run. I've set this variable, selfie, to this image. You remember I told you it lives right here. There's that URL of it. If I copy it and I open up a new tab, you can see at this location on the internet now lives this image. And so that happened because of the selfie block. And now we sent that to the model, and the model came back with a response. And this is, the response of that model. Again, we can copy it. I could open it up in a new tab, and we can see that this is what it's done with these images. Okay. So that's pretty easy, right? Does that sort of make sense? That we said workbench, that means we just run it here. Selfie, again, set variable selfie. You call it anything you want. Actually, use the word selfie. You call it image, you could call it Bob, it doesn't matter. And then I chose upload, and again, that automatically put it up in the cloud and gave me back the URL for it that it stored in the variable selfie. We then took that and put it here as a source image and gave it a prompt. And then the default behavior was display this to the user. Okay. Now I want to do a couple of other things here to show you the power of this. So if you click on this generate image block, down at the bottom here below the model settings that are different for each model, this might be different. This will always be the same. This is MindStudio. There's something called multiple variants. And I can enable that and allows me to choose how many variants I get of this. By default, I just got one variant. I got one image of 4 squares because I said each image has a 2x2 grid. Yeah. And so I chose that. But I could get multiple images of that, variants of that. And so I can choose that here. I'll set 3. You can go up to 10 here, and you can actually override it, and you could put 100 here if you wanted to. Remember, images do cost money to generate. I mean, text does too, but text costs fractions of pennies. Images cost pennies, so be aware of that. So I'll set this to 3. And I'm also going to change this here. Instead of a 2x2 grid, I'm just going to say create, a professional studio headshot of this person. Okay. And now we're going to get 3 of these. That'll do 4. Why not? Okay. And then I'm actually going to do something else here. Well, no, sorry. Let me do it one step at a time. Let's run this, okay? Let's run this again. I want to show you step by step what happens. All I've done so far from that last run we did is I said we want to get 4 variants, okay? And so again, image generation also takes more time than text generation. So sometimes you're waiting, and sometimes I'm running, multiple tabs, and I'm doing these things automatically. And again, here in this workbench mode, we're just, playing around, and we're creating this pipeline. This is already a pipeline. Soon we'll turn these into videos, you'll see. And we're creating this pipeline that once we've got it and it's fine-tuned, then we can very easily just change this variable selfie. Or again, we can just publish this and allow people to upload their own selfies. And then we charge them for using our amazing selfie generator. Okay, and then again, I actually do want to show you some of these amazing selfie generators here in a moment. Okay, and so now we have 4 variants, and I can click on these and I can kind of go through them and see what they are. And then I could, for example, choose one of these things and then proceed on. And so that's what I'm going to do. This is the last thing I'm going to show you here. And then before I show you these other amazing things that you can already build, is I'm going to click plus, and I'm going to say generate video. Okay, and so first we're going to generate an image, and then we're going to use that image as the first, it's called the first frame, kind of as the reference image for the video generation to generate a video of this. And so I'm actually going to go back to this generate image block here, this one that created the professional headshot. And you remember I said that the output by default is to simply display it back to us. And that's what it's doing here. It's just displaying it back to us. But I can also say save to variable. And then I can call this variable, something else. I'm going to call it first frame. And it doesn't matter what the capitalization is. I could call it like this. You just can't use spaces. I like to do it like this. This is called camel case. First frame. You'll see why I'm calling it first frame. It's for it to make more sense to you. You can call it anything you want. It's just a variable. And now I'm going to go to this generate video block. And again, here it kind of works the same way, which is you get to choose the model that you use for this. And again, we support all kinds of awesome models. Sometimes it's hard to choose. This is a new cool one. I'm just going to use this one. And then these models have different capabilities. More and more models have the capability to do what's either known as a keyframe or a reference frame or a first frame. This one does have a first frame. And so I can just type double curly braces. It automatically gives me a dropdown. There's that selfie thing we made. Here's that first frame thing we made. So I'm just going to choose this. So now this says, in the first frame, we're going to put in whatever image we've selected here now is going to become that first frame of this. You can also specify last frame. We're not going to do that. And then you get specify duration. Again, different models support other parameters as well. Here, I'm just going to make it a short direction. And I can say, make this person laugh. Okay? And, you know, and so let's run that and see what happens. Yeah, and we're going to display it back to the user. Um, Again, you can also enable multiple variants here as well. I'm just going to keep it at one, and I'm going to say run. And so again, this thing is going to go from the beginning, and it's going to generate our images. We can then choose whatever image we like. So it's going to pause here. Then we can choose whatever image we like. And if we've chosen an image, then it will proceed to the generate video block, put that image as the first frame, execute the prompt, generate the video, which, by the way, we could then take save to a variable again, and we could generate a bunch of videos and then put them all together to create longer videos. And this is how these like longer videos get done that you may see like on YouTube, where they might be, a few minutes long. They're actually built of little clips like this and then stitched together. And you can do all of that in MindStudio, and it's no more complex than the stuff I'm showing you here. By the way, uh, we still have time, right? Or is this thing about to end? Oops. Okay, we still have time. Great. Okay. Is this valuable? Is this making sense? You guys can be me like this, man. Boo. Like you can boo me in chat. I like that too. Okay, cool. Um, okay, so let's take a look at these. Okay. I'm not sure I've ever looked this formal. So it's kind of weird seeing myself in this way. But listen, I think these are nice photos of me. Like this guy, I think, is better looking than I am. And I'm going to choose this one. And now, again, I can uh, click the select variant. By the way, if I don't like any of these, I can just stop and rerun this thing and create more without going to the video block. But I do like it and I do want to show it to you. And so I'm going to say select. And as soon as I say select, what this thing does, select. You guys still with me? Is this a network issue? Um, Sorry about that. Let me see. Perfect time to show us our debugger that allows us to continue and select things. So I just selected that frame, and now this thing is running. Again, you can see it running. And then, so generating those four images, because I was using Nano Banana, it's kind of expensive, cost us 55 cents. Okay, so again, be careful. But listen, if I wanted to get four professionally taken photos, well, that's not going to cost me 55 cents, you know. And this will cost me whatever, over $1 probably. But still, like I couldn't have shot a video like this over $1. In fact, I'm not sure I can actually laugh hysterically. So, so we'll see what happens here. Okay, so, and then right after this, I actually want to take you quickly over the next 10 minutes, that we'll also leave some room for questions. And by the way, I can run over. So if you guys still have interest in this and still have time, I'll stick around and you can ask me questions there. I can deeper dive into this. And again, video generation takes longer than image generation typically. Could take up to a minute or 2 minutes even and do it. Let's come back to this so we're not sort of watching grass grow. Let me show you some of these other things. Again, if we go to my workspace, on the left-hand side here, images and videos. I pointed you to this. For now, we're calling this kind of the agent's store for a number of reasons. One, it's like a bunch of things you can just use, kind of like in an app store, you can just use them. You don't have to download them here, you just use them. And the second is you can actually monetize them. So people who are creating these are making money by us using their creations. Okay, let's take a look at some of these. This one is called Auto Shoot. Again, I find it amazing. It allows you to upload one image, one selfie, and then it automatically creates for you 8 other 4K professional shots. The cost to run this, I think, is 50 cents For 50 cents, you get these shots. By the way, these shots are dramatic. These are the best photos of me that have ever been taken. There are none that I know of that are better than the ones that when I ran this with this, just uploaded one of my the same selfie that I just showed you. And in fact, I posted them to Facebook, and my mom was like, "Oh my God, I love that. Where were you? What is this?" I'm like, "Mom, that's AI." And she doesn't understand what that means. She's like, "Well, what do you mean? Where were you?" I'm like, "That's not me." She's like, well, "No, but what do you mean it's not you? It's obviously you. Like you're messing with me." She said, "I love the photo." I'm like, I understand. Okay, so play with this. It's amazing. If you want some amazing photos of yourself, click run. And then again, how does it work? You click run. It asks you to upload a photo. I'm gonna do my photo again. Wow, it's like I think the only image I have that I even like of myself. That's why I always use it. And then it says, "Oh, this one costs money." And I'm gonna say pay, and that's it. And now it's gonna go off and run, it's gonna generate these photos. Let me show you how you can take that and instead of running it, you can make a copy of it. Do you see what I'm doing? Remember that thing I showed you where you can start from scratch and add a bunch of these blocks onto the screen and configure them and turn them into a pipeline that makes something? This is that. This is a pipeline that makes 8 amazing 4K headshots of a person. And if you've never seen MindStudio, you'll be like, well, I don't know what any of this stuff means. And that makes sense. But in, an hour or two, you could very quickly feel very, very comfortable with what this pipeline does, and certainly, uh, one, build it from scratch, and two, just make a copy of it and modify it. So this is a user input. This is the screen you see that says upload your selfie. That's all this thing does. This is the thing that says how much do you want to charge for it? 50 cents. And what it does. And then on reject, if the user says no, what does it do? You click here and it just takes it back to this block to try again. If the person does authorize 50 cents, this uses what's known as an analyze image block, right? So you click plus, view all blocks. We've seen the generate video block. We've seen the set variable block. There's also something called analyze image. Analyze image allows you to give it an image. In this case, it's this reference variable, which is the image that I upload. It turns into this variable called reference. We provide it to this model and says the provided reference images are part of a professional photo shoot, analyze the reference image, deduce what the higher level photo shoot is about, what its purpose is. It basically says like figure out, create a brief, like a photographer brief on what this thing is. Then it saves it into a variable called brief. It then uses a text model, in this case, Claude Sonnet, and it says, here's the brief that was just created here. Using the provided photo shoot brief, create complete descriptions for 8 additional shots of the same photo shoot. And then it goes off and creates these shots. So by the way, all you have to do to turn this into something dramatically different is just edit this plain English right here. You can also do it in full screen. You can just write a different prompt, and this will be something dramatically different because this prompt is the thing that defines what this thing does. Okay. How many? 8. You can change that. And what is it? What kind of a shoot it is? Let me show you. First, let's go back to this thing. Here you go. Some of the images. I think it's kind of network problem on my end here that it's not showing more. Like this is what I look like from the side. That's amazing that it was able to get that from my front photo, right? Like, okay. Some reason this thing, let's refresh it. Sorry, guys, I don't know. I'm having some kind of weird issues today. You should get 8. It comes with 8. Um, Let me show you a derivative of this. So again, if we go to my workspace, images and video, there is another one here. Sorry, what was the product one? Oh, here it is, Lumina Studio. That's simply a copy of that other one. It's literally exactly the same thing, except of what it says here. High-end commercial images. These shots may be designed cohesive brand asset pack suitable for global product launch. And what you get is you get, things like this. Amazing product photography. How much would it cost you to produce this? If you were a brand and you wanted to get a bunch of shots of your new bag, well, in this case, it costs, I think, $1 for 8 shots. Uh, if you're a product photographer, you might be nervous at this moment on the ramifications of this. Or this thing right here. Let's see which one, where I showed you the hairstyle. Oh, I love this one here. Again, super simple, just a little bit different. You can look at it. There's not much. It's mostly, the prompt that you create that you change right here. Reimagine the provided photo in class 90s mall photo studio, Macy's, JCPenney, Sears. Update the clothes, pose, style, lighting, camera resolution, everything else to make it feel like a Macy's portrait studio. Like, what a crazy world we're living in. What is this sorcery? That how does a model know what is Macy's, JCPenney, Sears, and what their portraits would look like? Well, it does, and they're freaking amazing. And I'm sorry, I need to be using new thing. And yeah, so these, right, these things are awesome. And so make copies of these, modify the prompt, and you've got yourself the ability to create really sophisticated uh, things that are here. And again, look through all of these different ones. They're just coming in. I haven't even seen this one yet. This is the first time I'm seeing this. You're seeing it with me. This is so freaking cool. Like this took somebody maybe 10 minutes, I'm guessing. I mean, maybe they spent hours on it, but you certainly could have built something like this in 10 because it's just a copy. Do you see the pattern? It's the same one that I showed you. It's that first one. There's just they changed the thing. Here you go. Historical eras. Create countless ones every holiday. Christmas photos, make one of those. Valentine's, make one of those. Pick every holiday that every culture has, make them, pick how much you want to charge for them. By the way, is it worth 50 cents? I think it's worth much, much more than 50 cents. Certainly professional headshots are worth much more than 50 cents. Um, and you've got yourself a real business in doing that. Okay, and again, look around. You can find these things here. Submit them into our store. Submit them into, again, they can obviously also be video. Here, you literally upload an image, a reference image, and either record motion or upload a motion, and it fuses them together. And it takes whatever image you upload and it animates it doing the motion of this video that you uploaded here. And you get, uh, you know, stuff like this. By the way, it comes with sound. You can't hear it there, but like, and so you can do that. And again, you make a copy of that. It's not hard. This one's even simpler. Are you guys with me? You follow me here? That this stuff is really, really easy to do. I've shown you the tip of the iceberg here, but like, go play with this. We have more tutorials. In fact, I did a longer seminar that you can find, on YouTube on this. It was a 2 hour. We dive deeper, and you can start doing it. Okay. Any questions? Luis, maybe if you're still here, see if I can handle some questions that have been asked, and I'll pull people up. If you want to ask a question, just use that React interface in Zoom and put here. I think we may have lost Luis. Is John? Oh no, Luis is here.
No, I'm here. Yeah, so there are folks that are asking about, getting people are going to start making these and they want to be able to have those be visible, is there a place on, where they can make these agents visible, like a store or something? I know we have a community
Yes,
section.
well, the no,
Yeah.
the store that I just showed you is if you make good things, you should submit them. We will add them. If you just want to make them public and promote them on social media, like when you publish them, they're visible, they're public, although you can restrict them also to users, but I'm assuming you want to make them public. They're public, and then you can link to them from your website. You can embed them in your own website. But like the implications of that, you can make a little photo booth, for example. Let's say you've got a brand, or an e-commerce store or whatever. You can take these things now and embed them directly in your website. And so people coming to your website can upload their photo, and let's say you're selling glasses and they get themselves pictures of themselves in various types of glasses. I'm always struggling with these terrible when I go shopping for glasses, they're like, oh, you can try them on. Those things suck. It's like weird, clunky. No, they should be like this. Now you get like high resolution pictures of yourself wearing these glasses. You can actually see what you look like in these things. That's huge. And yeah, so you can do that. And of course, the store that I showed you were all of those different things where if you're making things, you can submit them in there. Soon we will allow you, like anyone, to just submit them, and there'll be kind of a long tail of these things. So yes, make them. There's room for them to get discovered, okay, and for people to use them. And again, they don't have to be complex. I give you ideas. Every holiday in every culture should be there. Every novelty should be there, right? Turn yourself into SpongeBob. Now you got to be careful with like using copyrighted stuff and all of that. But again, for experimentation purposes here, you can build all kinds of things that are really, really powerful. Okay.
What about to connect your own API keys,
Mhm.
any image models that you're running on your own machine?
Yeah. Yeah. So you can do both of that, both of those. You can, if you have API keys to models in the cloud or wherever they are, you can easily, again, go to workflow settings here. And again, we got tutorials on it. There's no need to show it to you here. And you just enter those API keys and use those. So no problem, easy. We also have something that you need to download and basically run one command. So run one command in your terminal, and it installs something called a tunnel if you're running models on your personal computer. And then MindStudio uses that tunnel to connect to your models that are running on your personal computer, and you can use that. So, by the way, if you do have that, then you don't have to pay to these model providers for generating images and videos. And I showed you that generating images and videos actually is meaningful amounts of money. Not meaningful when you're doing it for something that has value to you, right? You're doing it for work, or you needed some better headshots, and 50 cents is nothing to pay for that. But if you're just like goofing off and doing nothing, then you're kind of wasting money. But with running them locally, if you've got a big machine with a big GPU, you can save some money doing that. So wherever you are, we support all of that. Next question, Luis, if there
The
are.
yeah, so I just want to confirm, I saw a question in here that says like everything in the store you can make a copy of and like modify for yourself. That is absolutely true. Go and find something in the store and make a copy of it, modify it as many times as you want, test things out. You can make as many copies as you want, no issues whatsoever.
Mhm. Yeah, and again, you can then publish it and charge for it,
Right.
right? So you can change some language, something cool to some community that you have access to. And then in just the 1 to 2 minutes, you could make a new micro SaaS that you can then just send to your community and say, hey guys, look what I made. Go to town. It's profound opportunity here. Okay. Next, by the way, I also see questions queuing up. So thanks for doing
Yeah.
that. Again, if others have questions, queue them up. We'll get to you right after we exhaust Luis's questions here. and we'll take you in order that you guys raised your hand.
Those were the main questions I saw in the chat. Mostly
Okay,
people are just, very excited, which is
perfect.
awesome to see. So,
Okay, let's
Purdy, go
take the
ahead.
first caller. Yes, Perty.
Hi there. Thank you so much. This session was fantastic, Dimitri, and one of the many sessions that I'm attending and now using MindStudio slowly. Couple of questions. One is so there's an enterprise level image creation, that sometimes the enterprise users wants to protect, right, for IP reasons and whatever.
Mhm.
How should one think about when you're uploading those images for enterprise level protection? I think
Mhm.
for personal use and selling them, that's pretty clear. You just do it, you replicate what you share.
Mhm.
How should we think about it from an enterprise perspective?
Yeah, great question. Well, first of all of the images that you upload to MindStudio, right, get stored in a CDN and are available in the CDN, right? They're only available to you, meaning, right, like but they've got a public link. You can also reference images that you don't upload to MindStudio, meaning you might have images already in your own cloud that you can simply link to, or you can fetch images from any place to put into your MindStudio workflows. So again, up to you where those images are stored and what your sensitivities are to that. Um, and yeah, meaning there shouldn't be any. You can host your own models, obviously. That's another thing. So if you've got, again, if you're an enterprise, you might have some GPUs that are available, and you simply want to connect to them. So that's really easy. So you don't have to then send those images to the AI models themselves, which might be like a vulnerability that you might consider as a vulnerability. Although again, we haven't sort of seen that be a case. But yeah, but there are ways around it. So if they're like,
Gotcha. One more follow-up question. You mentioned a use case around taking pictures of your like different kinds of glasses, and it's
yeah,
hard to do that. What was the use case you're referring to?
oh well, I've got these, reader glasses, and I periodically say, hey, I kind of like the way these look on me. I want to find more like this. And it's like I browse websites, and some of them have like, oh, you can try this thing on, and you enable your camera, and it sort of like projects onto you in real time this
Mhm,
thing. But that always like to me feels like it's clunky and weird. This doesn't look like it.
mhm,
But here you
mhm.
could actually replicate that case that all the person does is uploads their selfie. It either chooses the glasses for them, kind of like the hairstyle app, or they say, here are the ones that I want to try on. And then it just generates those images of you wearing those glasses. And those images are generated and they're much better than this.
That was a fascinating use case because I work in the optical industry, so I appreciate that.
Amazing. Again, feel
Yeah,
free and connect with me. I'll gladly give you additional ideas on any of that. I'm
yeah.
accustomed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Okay.
that.
Thanks so much. Okay. Thought we had another question. I don't see another hand raised. Any other questions?
There's questions about getting like a recording of this. This is all being recorded. It's going to be sent to you via email, so don't worry. We've got you covered. We'll send you the link to the recording at after this
Mhm.
is live.
And yeah, there's also more videos on our YouTube channel. So please go find that. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Um,
Vondel?
also,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
sorry. Go ahead, Dimitri.
I was going to say, so we've got this hackathon running. So if you want to play around even more with this and participate with other people playing around, first of all, you can see, let me quickly share my screen again. You can see on LinkedIn or YouTube people that are posting about uh, being in this hackathon, right? There are posts. And you see people posting about MindStudio and things they're creating in this hackathon. And so take a look at that. That's a great way to see what people are creating. Shai is building an entire fashion uh, uh, like agency. This is crazy. The amount of stuff that he's doing there is awesome. Follow him. He's on the bleeding edge of stuff like that. Again, his is like fashion is the focus, but there's many others. Um, And again, so like that's a way to do it. And also we have a Slack that's really active, and there's a hackathon channel in that Slack. And so join that and see all the things that people are doing, learn from them. You're not late to this. You're actually early. Your peers have no idea. There's like, what is a why first frame, that you need to generate an image first, what the different models are, how can you, train them in the right way. They don't know any of that. You're now on the bleeding edge. Go teach them. Go be the expert. Get into this. Start posting on LinkedIn. Look at what I made. Look at this, look at this, look at this. We live in a world where, if you like it or not, this is extraordinarily valuable. You could be the smartest, best person at your job function. But if LinkedIn does not say that, good luck. You're not going to get the interview. And so this is really important to get these skills and show them off. Now, you're not showing them off to brag. You're showing them off to gift to people. You're teaching people. You're inspiring people. So don't like get that thing of like, oh, I'm not a show off. I'm private. This has nothing to do with you. It has to do with you. Go give to the world. Go show them what you're doing. You're going to inspire them. You're going to teach them. Offer your services to them. They will ask you for your services. Someone can say, I don't want to learn it. I've got a new bag I'm bringing to market. I just need a bunch of shots. You say, no worries, I got you. You see? So do that. Like, I hope to encourage you to don't wait on this. You're early. Take advantage of this. Go build all of those SaaS things. You give it a year, it's going to be like the App Store. It's going to be millions of these things. And you would have said, oh, I wish I had built that thing. Well, don't wish, just go do it. Because again, your time investment I'm not kidding, your time investment is minutes. Okay, especially like once you understand like how to make a copy and you find the little thing to change the wording in and publish it, maybe fine tune it a little bit and figure out what price you want to charge for it and do it. And then you can build these things in less than 5 minutes each. In an hour, you could build a dozen in a day. That's what you should be doing this weekend, right? I don't want to tell you what you should be doing. Plus, I don't want your families to be mad at you. But I propose that you just saw something that you should realize how big of an opportunity is this. And I encourage you guys to do it. Okay, sorry. Vondel, I think you got a question.
Wow, no, Dimitri, that was necessary, brother, man. Thank
Hmm.
you. Preaching to the choir. I just told myself that the other day. I was like, man, we're early adopters. But
Hmm.
yeah, this was amazing, and I'm all ready to go on the AI image video certification on the 14th, and then L1
Amazing.
on the 23rd. So I'm super excited.
Nice.
My question has to do with we're actually going to learn to build them on the 14th, and then the second part of my question is where should I start? I'm brand. I made a MindStudio account, hadn't really got back there. There's a lot of videos. I think I just got on with Lewis on the very first, whatever the entry webinar is. I went
Mhm.
there and I'm tracking with Nancy and several of the others. I just don't want to get lost because I get tab brain and
I get it.
I want to stay on a path, a clear, consistent path to be a producer, not a sort of get lost in content or if that makes sense. Like I want to learn
Totally.
to create, which is why I now want to create workflows versus get lost in all the tabs, having so much fun going, wow,
Totally. Yeah, so YouTube has playlists, and there
for
are
my,
playlists for MindStudio. Yeah,
oh, okay.
MindStudio playlists. And there's like dozens of tutorials that teach you different blocks and how to configure them. And then there's a longer 2 hour, maybe let me find it for you. I'll share here
Okay.
with you a longer 2 hour session that I did of this. And so a lot of these are recorded. So there's a lot of video content. If that's how you like to learn, also there are those written tutorials, those step-by-step ones that I showed you at the beginning. Do you remember that? If you just go here, let me show you.
Yeah.
If you just go to
Like
MindStudio.
I want to focus on like the very basic blocks. Like I don't want to be looking at like 10th grade stuff when I'm like I haven't even gotten the middle school or the high school stuff, if that makes sense.
Everything is very compressed here. So
Okay.
let me show you again. So if you go to my workspace, there are these video tutorials that you can start watching. Okay, and so you can click on this, and it's just a YouTube video. It's 101. Okay. This
Okay,
is the
gotcha.
image generation 101. This is a conversation I had with a customer, but that's not, in fact, I think we should probably change that. Here, if you go to our YouTube channel, it's got almost like 30,000 subs. There are videos and there are playlists. And so if you're, depends on how you want to start. If you want to go image and video, you can watch our previous workshops, core building principles. So like a bunch of these masterclass things that we've done that are 2 hours. So like all of these are I think valuable. You start it with any of them. If you spend a couple of hours, you'll be like, okay, I kind of generally get it now. I just mostly want to play. Like I don't think you'll be watching too many of these tutorials because once you understand the basics of like it should just make sense, I hope.
Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
think I just want to focus on the lean and get it in there so I can build faster because I'll get lost
Uh,
on the other cool stuff and be like, well,
that makes sense.
that didn't help me
I,
build what I was looking to build, but I learned and understand a ton, but contextually, it doesn't help me kind of keep moving. But
I think you're nailing something that I've been saying to the team is we need one canonical. This is the path, and there are no choices.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Especially for the
so
newbies.
that
Like
makes sense.
keep us on that
Yeah,
lean path to say, hey, these are sort of like, I don't want to say prerequisites, but almost like if you understand these fundamental prerequisites, then
totally.
you can go as fast as you want to after that. But if you don't
Yeah,
get this fundamentals, learn ABCs, you're going to be
yeah,
so lost you can't read
yeah,
a thing. Yeah. Thanks.
yeah. Well, that's the first video. No matter what, it's the first tutorial there. So you'll always
Okay.
find that. But I think we give you maybe too many options. We got to like clean up our YouTube channel.
For people like
We,
me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and me. So like, brother, we takes one to know one. So like, I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
And I
Yeah.
think you got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for the question. Other questions, thoughts, anything we can do for you guys? By the way, I'm around this weekend. I'm going to be recording some tutorials this weekend, in fact. Um, and so if you guys have questions, by the way, I see your hand again, Vondel. I'll get back to you in a second. If you have questions, you can just ping me. I'll be on call. I'll be on duty. Everybody else is anyway. The community now 24/7 has people in it that you can ask the question in Slack and somebody's going to help you. But this weekend I'm also around a lot. And so please feel free and ask questions and again, join the hackathon. $1,000 is cool, but it shouldn't be about $1,000. What should be cool about is that you get to practice all these amazing skills along with another group of people that are learning along with you. I always find that's a great way to do it. Okay, sorry, Vondel, and then I see Janet.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Last point. So now that I'm in myself, I'd love to get or know how to access if there are affiliate links to invite others along. So like
There
I have a
are.
school community and I've
Mhm.
been
Yeah,
showing
if you
them
go
how
to
to
the
generate.
footer, if
Okay.
you go to the footer of MindStudio, you'll see there's a partner program there, and just join that, and it'll give you a link,
I
and
think
then you can.
J Josh actually, I think, shared the link with you in the chat if you want to use
Oh,
that
I see.
link as well.
Yeah,
Josh.
no
Oh,
worries. Here you
Or yeah,
go, and
we'll post it
also
in the chat. Yeah.
I'll
okay.
just share it. I'll just share it here as well. Oh, I think there you go.
I
For
think
those of you
that's
who want to join, yeah, you can tell people about this. You can make money. So there's like a bunch of things. The other thing, by the way, that we're looking for, again, if you guys have been following me on LinkedIn, is we're looking for folks that like making videos about themselves using these agents, and even better, making videos of themselves making these agents. It's like a screencast. If you guys want to already do that or two are interested in doing it, please reach out to me on LinkedIn, just via Messenger, and say, I see you, Rondo. And let's do it. We're excited to help you. We've got free credits for you. We've got promotions. You can grow your channels because they're not on our channel. They can be on your channel, but we're going to promote your channels. And so win, 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 win. We want to foster that. Okay, Janet?
I don't want to take other people's time, but this is sort of a question about my account. Is I have a pro account, and I also signed up for that first certificate program with the boot camp. But when I went in to do my boot camp, the second workspace for boot camp hadn't been made, so I was making all of my agents on my paid account, and now my paid account is kind of filled up, and I
I
can't.
see.
Yeah.
You
So
can
who
transfer
do I
them.
talk to move those boot camp agents into my boot camp and get my paid account opening?
Let's see if Josh, could you please follow up with Janet and pointer of
Yes.
how to do that. It's really straightforward, Janet. Josh will just send you a link of how
Okay,
to do it.
thank you
Okay.
so much.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Yeah, I'm excited now because I really have some time to start
I
putting
get
into
it.
this.
Yeah.
And I see all these opportunities you have, and you make it so accessible. It's just a matter of focusing and following that one thread to get those products and those connections made. And I think that's the big key is that focus part and that track to get through to the product, and that's the part I want to really focus on doing. So I'm
Amazing.
excited about it.
Love it. Amazing. Thank you. Oh, one more public announcement. So if any of you are, or more than likely, if you have kids that are super active on Reddit or Discord servers or Twitter, where the cool kids hang out. I don't. We would love to potentially partner with them and help them. There are folks talking about us in these different services. We're not really there to engage with them, but if folks are already using it, we've got jobs for them, in a sense, part-time jobs for folks that like to already do that. Now, they need to be natives of it. They need to speak that language. We'll know that they speak the language when they speak to us and we don't understand what they're saying. And so I know I'm not that person. And so if you know of any of those types of people, please route them to me, and then I'll see if I could potentially leverage them.
Could I ask a
Janet,
quick
sure.
question?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious, and maybe you covered this early in the webinar and I maybe missed it, but are you working with a range of partner models out there, or are you working with just, like Gemini or just one of these platforms?
Great question. Thank you. By the way, I really like your setup too. Looks very nice and obviously sounds great. No. We are one of the, there are many obviously value propositions, but certainly an obvious one of MindStudio is it's model agnostic and supports many models.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah. And so we support over 200 models, and new models are being added, typically multiple times a week. Certainly all the most important models are there. You don't have to go get your own API keys. You don't need to go have accounts on these different platforms. You just sign up for MindStudio, and we give you access to all those models right away. You don't have to pay anything for them. You only pay for the things that you use of them. So for those transactions. And what you pay is, again, there's zero markup, exactly the same as what you pay directly to the model providers if you went and manually got those API keys from them. There's just a convenience that we instantly give you access to all of these and just meter them and bill you. And you put in your credit card, and then you can buy credits, or you can automatically top up if you want. Or if you can also use your own models. If you've got your own API keys, you can easily configure those. If you're running something, at home or in the cloud that's your own private server, you can use that.
So you can create your own kind of SaaS model around this, and like was asked before, to make that available on a subscription or something like that. Is that the model that you're going on?
You can make it
kind of like just a usage-based type of a thing with there. And is there like a wholesale token cost here? Is that how it works versus the full price? Or?
That's a great question. Yeah, let me quickly share my screen and see my screen again.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. If we go here and we, let's say, have this thing, and we make a copy of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to make a copy of it. And then I am going to, I'm actually not going to change anything about it. I'm just going to publish it. So I've actually just recreated that same app. Now it's mine. Now, the one in the App Store is still the original one. And this one can't get into the App Store because it's just a direct copy. But for us, that's no problem. And so we're just doing this here. And again, all of those that we made are remixable. If you're really running this as SaaS, you would disable that make a copy thing. Because obviously, if you enable it, people just make a copy and use theirs. You would disable that. That's really easy to do. in the editor here, when you click here, you can disable remixing. Just toggle this, and now people can't make copies of it. All the ones that are in our App Store today, you can make a copy of, again, intentionally, we've made that. And so I've published this thing, and now I can just run my agent. By the way, periodically the network gets busy, and so you'll see things like this show up. Oh, okay, this one's already loaded. So here it is. We can say upload a photo, and again, I could run this again on myself. And then, by the way, we can see this thing running in the debugger here. Am I running the right one here? Should be here. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so this is that one. This one I just canceled. This is the thing that's running. And so we can see it running here. And we can also see the cost of it running as it accumulates cost. And so we'll notice that to generate these 8 images here costs us less than 50 cents. And so we get the basically ballpark of how much each run costs us. And then we can simply mark that up. In this case, again, we didn't mark it up very much. It's marked up like, I think, 8 cents here. But again, if you made this $2 to get 8 amazing headshots, then you'd have a large margin, and your cost would be around 42 cents, which is I think what these runs actually cost, and you'd be making $2, and there's your margin. Yeah. Okay, I hope that helped. So like that's so you take it, you run it. Once it runs, it prints out for you how much that costs. You then mark it up, configure it in your authorized block, and then you're good to go. Janet?
Is my hand still up? I'm sorry. I
Oh,
didn't
yes,
have
it
a
is. No
question.
worries. All good. Vinay?
Hi, Dimitri.
Hey.
Question I have is like when you were showing the authorized payment there, I see as 50 cents or whatever you mentioned there,
Yeah.
but it's not asking for the payment information, right? How is that processed? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So if you are not, if you have not yet put in your credit card number, it will ask you for that. It's just mine is already in there, and
Mhm.
therefore I just get this one button. But if this is your
Okay.
first time buying something through MindStudio, you've got to fill in your information to then be able to have that. Yeah.
So when the user enters their credit card details or like their details, right? Is it secure like to go through that payment process?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Well, by the way, all in the back is just using Stripe payments.
Stripe, okay.
Yeah. But yeah,
It's a third-party service, I guess, right? Okay.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Mhm.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, Janet, looks like you got your hand raised again.
So if we have our website and we put our agents that we built on there, is there an agent on MindStudio for collecting the funds, like setting up a paywall and all of that just runs it? Or do we just have to create our own paywall?
Well, no, again, you can use the paywall that I've been showing you here, that little modal that shows up and it says it costs money.
Oh, okay,
Or you
okay.
could set up your own paywall and not have this one there, and then handle your own paywall. And again, many services, depending on what your website is running on, if it's like on a Squarespace or Wix or Weebly, they have their own capabilities
Okay.
for you to have members areas, and you can offer them as either a subscription or one-time payment. So like you can do both, but
Okay.
our paywall is just that little modal that shows up and
And
asks
then we
something.
put our own bank account in it?
Yeah,
Our bank
exactly.
account? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. That's easy.
It is easy. Yeah.
It's amazing. You make everything so
Thank
easy,
you.
it's hard to believe.
Thank you. I'm not going to take credit for it. It's our team. And if you really want to know who kind of technically is it, there's a guy named Sean Thielen, who's our CTO, who you should follow on LinkedIn. He's amazing. He always drops the things first. I typically reshare. So if you want to stay at the bleeding edge of what's happening in MindStudio, Sean Thielen, let me find the link to his profile for you. Um, there you go. Okay, Elena?
Yeah, I asked this and I got an answer and I flaked on it and I didn't write it. How do I move it from one workspace to the other? Because I was in the L1 and I made some stuff I want to keep after that. And
Yeah, Josh is on call for this as well. So, Josh, can we make sure that Elena knows how to move
oh,
things?
there's not just like a place you can do for these other ones.
What do you
Like,
mean a place you can do?
like if we remix it, doesn't that go into like our the workspace if we're in the hackathon or something? And then we want to get that into our own for later. Like how does that? That's what I'm talking about. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
what you're
yeah. So
asking? Okay,
there's a capability I see. Uh, yeah, Josh is gonna take care of this. He's gonna send
perfect.
you a
Thank
guide.
you. That's
Yeah.
great. Thanks.
Mhm. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, I see Sean.
Hey, Dimitri. When
Hey.
you were generating the video of you laughing, you were going to do that. If you want to stitch
Oh,
together a
we
longer
never
series,
did see that. Sorry, keep going. I just forgot
yeah,
about that. I want to see
yeah,
myself laughing.
you're gonna generate yourself laughing. But if you
Yeah.
wanted to like then, make yourself doing something else and stitch it together, is that all in the same thread or is that in different agents or?
No, you can do it in the same. You can, yeah, you can keep going. Here, let's take a look at this thing while we're discussing this, and I'll show you. So we never kind of came back to this thing. So again, it cost us in total to generate this video because of the model that I used, Kling03, and we made it 4 seconds long, $1.12. Again, keep an eye on this because, sorry, can you guys see my screen? Thumbs up? Yeah. Okay, cool. And this is the thing it generated. You're not going to hear the audio. I guess I can just share it with you here in chat so you guys can get the full experience. There you go. Okay, and so then you could, yeah, you see here, I just display it to the user, but we could simply save it to a variable and go on and do many other things. Like we could generate another 6 clips and then stitch them all together. So let me show you. Uh, I should have shown you this before as well. So thanks for asking the question. For those of you who are still stuck around, some people left. Um, so there are these blocks for generating things using models or analyzing things or stuff like that. There's a bunch of blocks here for getting data into the system from various places, for controlling flow, for connecting to social media and doing all that stuff. And then if you go down below here, there's something called transform media. There's an entire category of blocks that are available to you to do things like add subtitles to a video or extract audio or merge video clips. And so if I click merge video clips, it allows me to add a bunch of video clips here and give it a new variable, choose if I want no transition or any kind of transition, and then it'll take a bunch of clips and turn them into one, puts them together. Yeah, that's merge videos. And again, there's many other blocks here down in this transform media category, swapping faces on images or videos, upscaling images and videos, dealing with watermarks, resizing videos or trimming parts of videos or transcribing them or muting them. And so with these blocks, you can do all kinds of automatic video production. Yeah. Have you guys seen, let me quickly go to YouTube here. Let me mute this. So there are typically come in here as um, celebrity meet selves, right? I don't know if you've seen these like types of really heartwarming, videos like this that just have, this one's actually kind of corny. No, this one isn't very good at all. Some of them are dramatically better than this. You guys, have you seen these kinds of videos that go viral? They've got like 20 million uh, 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 views and all kinds of things, whatever. Or you can think I saw a stranger things cast meet young self. Well, when you're looking for them, you can't find them, but everywhere else you can find these videos. Be careful, look around, you'll see these videos of people. I mean, those are really easy to create with MindStudio, and they're just a bunch of short clips. And then you can do, oh, why am I doing it? I think I made one, so I can quickly show it to you here. Um, Here you go, young. And so we can look at this thing and we could look at some prior runs. And so all this thing does is it asks you to put in like a topic. And I say these specific people, basically presidents. And so, we get back these amazing little video clips. And again, they've got sound. You guys can't hear the sound. And doing this. Or I think this one was, yeah, the cast of Stranger Things. My son and wife have been watching Stranger Things. It took me 15 minutes to put together this little this little thing that, like, when you run it, it's an app, and this one just asks you type in something, and then it picks the top 3 people known for that, and then just goes off and creates all of these videos. Then you can put them all together and publish them to YouTube. See, well, I'll show you another one. This one, this is an oldie but a goodie. Sorry, Instagram. There you go. Oops. This is my 10-year-old daughter. She likes to make slime and slime videos. And so that's an iPhone, that's her desk. And, she makes these videos. She's got this cool light here, that like shines on it and all that. And so these are, videos of Una and one of her sisters making these things. But these right here are not Una's hands. And Una did not make that slime. Una didn't even come up with the idea of making that slime. All of this was made by my AI agent. It comes up with an idea for a slime. In fact, 7 ideas for a slime. And then well, let's see how it works. Oops. Let me just close a bunch of these. Sorry, guys. Guess I'll close these too. And I will go here and I will say my workspace. Una Slime Gen. Look at this. So all this thing does is has this blocks. It calls a large language model. I'll make this bigger. It says, create a text to video prompt of a unique slime by randomly combining elements from each category. Each generated prompt should follow this structure: the shot type, slime description, action sequence, special effects, detail, style. And then it gives it these like random elements to combine. For shot types, it can choose from these. For base slime types, it can choose from these. For colors, it can pick 1 to 3 out of this set. For mixtures, and that's it. And then it saves it to a variable called prompt. And so prompt becomes the, it's a video prompt. And then it just gives that prompt to this video model, in this case, VO3. Yeah, and then it just gives it that prompt. And it also gives it the base image here, the input image. This is just one screenshot of an actual video of Una making the slimes. It's like literally one screen capture, one frame out of one of her videos. And this captured the table, an idea of hands doing slime, and that light. And that's all it needed. And then, aspect ratio, how many seconds. And then it runs this actually 7 times. This is just it's called Run Workflow Block. It allows you to just run it 7 times. It generates 7 different slimes. It also generates for each one of them the name of the slime and the description of the slime. And then it uploads them all to a Google Sheet that I need to reconnect to because my token is expired. And then, and that's it. And then, by the way, I could have automated the publishing to Instagram also, but Una wants to then take these 7 clips and then put them together in the right order. And she picks the additional audio. By the way, this generates ASMR audio. So like when she's doing it, you hear the like crackling and gooey stuff, but she likes to add like a background audio to it. So she does that manually, but the rest of the production is done. Okay. By the way, she hates this because she likes making slime. She doesn't want the AI to make slime and for her to then just add. So she hasn't been doing it. My token is expired. So I made it at school, but Una's like, I don't need this kind of help. I just want to make slime. But again, amazing what you can do if you did want to run a channel like that. These are giant channels of slime. Anything imaginable, like anything imaginable. What a crazy, amazing world and amazing opportunity to just create these things, set them on autopilot or supervise them, or go help brands. Brands desperately need somebody that knows how to do this. Go knock on their door and say, hey, you guys produce any content? You want to produce more content for social media, for Explainer, for whatever, collaterals? Of course we do. We're living in this world. Everybody needs that. Everybody desperately needs that. Go do it for them. Charge them a lot of money. Because the ROI is insane. No matter how much you charge them, the ROI is going to be insane. Because they'll be able to do things they would have never been able to do ever. Because that would have taken too long and cost too much. But now they can. You know, if they're doing TV advertising, to produce one TV ad costs a lot of money. And so you do a lot of planning and then you produce it and you run it. Well, now the producing TV ad doesn't cost any money. It costs $10. And so you make 10 of them and you can run them and you can test them. And you realize that one you would have never picked is actually the winner. And then you can lean into that. What's the ROI on that? You can do all of that for them. That's the opportunity here and now. Part of it is because what the model providers have done, which has given us these extraordinary new capabilities. Part of it's what MindStudio has done is allowed you to take those capabilities and actually leverage them versus like typing prompts at them, which is just silly. Yeah. All right, guys. If there are no more questions, one, I appreciate you hanging out with me and letting me wave my hands and rant at you here. Hopefully this was helpful. Again, hope you join us in Slack and join the bootcamp. We're doing more of these. So, you know, we've got a whole calendar. In fact, let me post that for you. If you want to join us in, oh, I don't have it on this. Give me a second here. Where you can attend other, you know, events. We cover all kinds of topics. Here we go. And some, you know, most of them are free. Some of them are paid, you know, that are longer and that have certifications and all that. In fact, we have a 1-day boot camp coming up on Monday. So I think there's maybe still room in that one. If it's here, then there is. And then whatever, we have others. So take a look around. Happy to have you and others. Otherwise, have an awesome weekend. Yeah, and thanks for spending the time here. All right, be well.
Thank you, Dimitri. This has been fantastic.
Thanks so much.
I'm excited. Yeah, and look out for all the cool things I'm going to create